Hi everyone, this is Swift Programming for Beginners. This is lesson 2 for Shah, and today we're going to talk about type inference, type safety, and type annotation. Before we begin today's lesson, as usual, you can go to this webpage, https://repl.it/languages/swift. This will allow you to follow along with the lesson and type in code samples, and you'll be able to see the results in real time. So let's get to it. So in the last lesson, we learned about the different data types that Swift supports: strings, integers, booleans, and floating point numbers. And we also showed, and you also saw how you can create constants and variables. And it's really quite straightforward. Let's do it right now. Let's say, for instance, I want to create a variable that holds a GrabFood rating, okay? So I can just do var GrabFood, okay? And then I assign it a value of 3. And then I do print GrabFood rating. Then when I click on run, you can see that I get the result, 3. Now, how does Swift know that that's an integer? Okay, so this is the first thing that we're going to learn, which is type inference. So type inference simply means that if it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it's probably the duck. In other words, because we are assigning an integer to GrabFood rating, Swift automatically assigns the type for GrabFood rating as an integer. Let's say, for instance, if I change it from 3 to 3.0, and then I click on run, you see I get the result is 3.0, okay, which is a floating point number. Now, let's say, for instance, I have a second rating, and I want this to store a floating point number. I don't want it to be an integer. So what I can do is I can use type annotation. Okay, so var panda rating. Okay, so after the name of the variable, I do a colon, and I do the type that I want. So in this case, that will be double. And just for fun, I'll assign 3 to it. Then I'll print it. Okay. So you can see here that even though I assign 3, which is an integer, to foodpanda rating, the result of the printout is 3.0. Okay. Is 3.0, that means that's a floating point number. So even though I assign an integer to foodpanda rating via type annotation can store only doubles. Okay, so that is type annotation. Now, we've looked at type inference and we've looked at type annotation. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is type safety. So type safety, what it tries to do is to prevent you from making errors in your code. And it does that by checking the type that you assign to a variable. So let's say, for instance, I'll just type in a new comment here, type annotation. So now I'm just going to change the value of GrabFood rating. So I'm going to assign it a new value of 5. So let's see what happens when I do that. Okay. Forgot to print it out. Let's try that again. So you can see it is 5.0. Okay. Even though I assigned a value of 5, it becomes 5.0. Let's try it the other way around. Okay. We change back the GrabFood rating to 3, so that makes it an integer. And let's do it this way, which is to say I'm trying to assign a floating point number to GrabFood rating. So now you can see here, I get an error, and the error says cannot assign value of type double to type int, GrabFood rating 5.0, and it tells me that, hey, you've got a floating point number here. You can't assign it to GrabFood rating because GrabFood rating is can only store integers. Okay, so in order to fix that, all I have to do is to change this back to an integer. And there you go. Okay, so in this lesson, you learn three things. You learn type inference, which means that Swift will automatically try to assign a value. Swift will automatically try to assign a type to a variable based on the value that you assign. So if you assign an integer, the variable will be a type of variable that can store integers. Now, the next thing is type annotation that allows you to manually specify what kind of type you want. And finally, we learn about type safety, where if you try to assign a different type to an existing type of a variable, it means if you try and assign, as shown in the example here, if I try to assign 5.0 to GrabFood rating, it's going to come out with an error. So I hope this lesson has been useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.